right, welcome back to the Dumb Marks Podcast. One gotta go. You know the drill. We give you a topic with 4 choices, and you tell us which one gotta go. The results from last week's biggest drinking holidays. You guys said St. Patrick's Day gotta go. Like, that's one of the biggest drinking holidays of the year. At least here in Pittsburgh. You know, I know Pittsburgh, Chicago, and Boston, but
you know,
at least Thanksgiving was up there.
New Year's Eve, Mardi Gras. You people really be out for Mardi Gras like that?
Yeah, no, that was weird. Especially my poll was super weird.
Yeah, Donald's poll definitely brought the St. Patrick's Day hate. So
maybe I got to deal with all the other bullshit that comes along with the drinking on that day because people are at the bar at 6 a.m. So by the time 11:30 in the morning rolls around, it's like you think it was 2:30 on the south side and just stuff popping off everywhere. Like maybe that's what it is from all the drama that comes around with that day. But yeah.
All right.
I did pull an Iron Man a couple times where I started at 6 a.m. and then closed the bar down at 2 a.m. and went all day. So I wouldn't recommend that, but yeah.
All right. This week we're gonna go Nintendo handheld game consoles. This actually wasn't the way I intended this one to go. I was actually just doing the best handheld game consoles, period.
What joystick you playing with?
The joystick. But
back in baby. Start
trigger.
Finish him. Start.
But whenever I end up researching the best selling handheld game consoles, these were in the top 5, and the only other one that was in the top 4 was the PSP, PlayStation Portable. So I was like, well, if most of these are all going to be Nintendo, we're just going to change this to a Nintendo theme. Mm-hmm. So these are in order of highest selling to lowest in the top 5. Nintendo DS, Game Boy, and Game Boy Color. They combine both of those. The Switch Original and Game Boy Advance.
My gaming experiences did not include the handhelds.
No Game Boy? Oh, wow.
Game Boy console was back then.
I was strictly a console kid. My sister had the Sega one.
Game Gear.
Game Gear.
I was expecting to put that in the list, but
so I mean, not like I did play Game Gear just because she had it, but yeah, I was not on here. I'm surprised like the PS isn't on here. And that even though you just did Nintendo. So with that being said, because I didn't play these, I'm just gonna kind of go off of what I think may be the worst one out of the group. Nintendo Game Boy or Game Boy Color isn't going anywhere because to me that feels like an OG. Same with the Game Gear. Switch, arguably one of the best-selling consoles of all time. DS, same thing. I'm going to go with the Game Boy Advance as far as getting off the list.
Steve hates when me and him agree on stuff, and almost the same logic, because I still have my Game Boy and my Game Boy Color. So those aren't going anywhere. Like I have the original Game Boy. The screen's definitely worn out. Turn it on. Mm-hmm. 40. Doesn't have as much power as it used to.
Pause. That's what she said.
But still got the Game Boy Color. The Switch is a great system. I actually didn't have the DS, but I had the 3DS, which would have been number 6 on the list. But a lot of the DS games were on the 3DS, so I played them.
Same
Advance
concept
for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Game Boy Advance is the one I never played, so that's going to go for me.
You want to go, Jason?
Yeah, I'll go. For me, it's between the advanced and the original. Right now, I hate going back and playing old games. So get graphically wise, get the original Game Boy off.
Wow.
How do you kick the original off?
I never had one anyway. So
you never played any of
I don't even think I may have played a color once.
I'm really trying to figure out how to say this without it being a pause, but you didn't have a friend that you could play with me.
We were a Game Gear house.
I never played Game Gear.
Yeah, all four of these big time. Just like you
Game
said,
Gear was
Chris.
bulky in your hands too.
It was bulky. Yeah, like you said, all four of these were good. Chris, Steve, I'm with you. The Game Boy Advance had to go. There was nothing special really about it. The system, like the original system itself, was like oblong, and it didn't feel right. Pause.
A lot of innuendo with the handhelds. This week.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I did have the Game Boy Advance SP, the smaller one that folded up, and I do have a Nintendo DS. That two screens.
Yeah. That smaller one usually does fold up a little more compact.
Yeah. Yeah, but the
It's
Advance
a grower, not a shower.
Yeah, but the Advance got to go. You can't kick the switch off. That's like a whole video game console in your hand. That's unbelievable technology.
When you figured that out, yeah, it was.
Never stop playing with it once you understood how it worked.
Once you figured out that cheat code. Woo.
You might have thought you broke it the first time, but then the power came back on, and you were like, "All right, it's game time. We're good to go."
Round 2.
Wait! Hadouken!
All right, guys.
It's out there, Chung Lee leg kicking.
Not the one to do after we drink the 9% alcohol drink. All right, guys.
Oh, I'm going out. I'm in the streets tonight.
Hit us up in the comment this week. Let us know which one Nintendo handheld game consoles gotta go. The DS, Game Boy, Switch, or Advance. Catch you next week.